What it do?
Yes, sir. It is that time. It's Thursday, which means it's time for Straight Talk Podcast.
Yes, sir.
With Fella and Rev. How you doing today, Rev Rose?
I'm good, man. I'm a little tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired.
This is one of those weeks. It's one of those weeks we had to drive. We had to grind it out.
Really?
And it's only Friday, Junior, but that does mean tomorrow is Friday. But yeah, it's one of those grinded out weeks for sure.
Yeah.
So you tired? I'm tired. So what's the song thing? You tired? I'm tired. Jesus will. That's our G.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's that Kanye.
Kanye. Something. I don't know.
You tried. It was worth the shot.
Yeah, I tried. We tired. But yeah, it's it's one of those weeks, man. We gotta get this show on the road.
For sure.
See anything you want to say to start the show off?
I just want to say,
I just want.
I'm not even gonna troll Daria like that. I was gonna talk about that Aces pack, but
it's just not. It's just one of those weeks.
I'll just leave it at I was right. I was right.
You were right, and that's what we're gonna talk about a little bit later on the show. Shout out to the Seattle Storm.
Yes, sir.
But we'll get into that a little more.
Also, shout out AP because he said he called that too.
Yeah, shout out to you, AP, for sure. Because you definitely. Let me get that. I got it. I can get this together.
Help me out. Yeah, help me out.
Help me out. Be straight.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Get where we need to go.
You did that real nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we're going to start it off with question of the day as usual. And, of course, this is the segment of the podcast where I ask my buddy here, Rev, a question, and he has to answer it. And I get to give him a grade. Why is he not pulling up? I get to give him a grade based on his answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the grade I give him is completely subjective. So please, don't be upset if I give him a bad grade that you don't agree with, because it's my grade for him. And there's no merit to the grade.
Keep in mind thus far I've been, you know what I'm saying, I've been killing the answers.
This season.
I only got one answer that's been below an A, and that was just because he was player hating. It was still a solid answer, but he had to, you know what I'm saying, he couldn't just keep letting me do well.
I ain't playing hating. A grade is your grade. And they're final. We ever had teachers that'd be like, my grades are final. Do not ask me for extra credit at the end of the semester.
Sheldon Webster type beat?
Yeah. But I ain't never had Mr. Webster.
Mouse said he can't see the shirt. Yeah, let me just.
Go ahead,
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, man. Little Infinity War joint. Shouts out to Black Panther. I felt like this one was a must cop.
True. This before he passed away. You already knew.
Very nice, powerful picture. Yeah. Avenge the Fallen too. That one.
It's deep.
Whew, anyway.
But the question of the day, my question for you today.
What you got, fun? What you got?
All right. So, it's rumored, I don't know if you saw, executives are rumoring that Miami Heat are the best destination for, the next free agent. Mm-hmm. Miami Heat have the best team, right? Mm-hmm. And you agree. You said, or agree that Giannis
mm-hmm.
Antetokounmpo would be the is going to Miami. Uh-huh. You said Miami or Toronto, but Miami is one of your preferred destinations. I'm like, yeah. So my question to you, Mr. Red Rose, if Giannis Antetokounmpo joins the Miami Heat, would it be a weaker or about the same amount of weakness? Would it be a weaker move than KD joining the Warriors?
I don't know why you keep asking this dumbass question. Look,
is it perceived? Is it just as weak or weaker than KD joining the Warriors?
It's neither.
Why? Why not?
It's neither. So you're setting me up for failure already because I'm not going to give you weak or weaker because it's not nearly as weak. Let me just take you on a trip down memory lane, right? The year is 2016. The Golden State Warriors are 73-9.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City is rolling in the playoffs.
Time.
I mean, they are just playing out of their mind in the playoffs. Russ is doing his thing on all fronts. KD is hooping. Serge is doing his thing. On all fronts, man, everybody's just out there balling. got Golden State and his fans sweating a little bit because they're like, hold on, bro. They is really hooping on us. Like, we thought we got the best record ever, and it looked like we finna lose, right? Game 6, Clay.
I was in Atlanta, boy. I remember that. Never forget that day.
Game 6, Clay.
Never forget that day. Ooh, that was beautiful.
So Game 6, Clay, you know.
Toronto, y'all lucky, by the way.
Game 5 was a little, you know, there was some selling going on the Thunder side. Game 6, Clay, they were just no match. I think Game 6 was the game that KD really sold like a mug. Like, he was on some bull. And then 7, it was some selling on all fronts. That pressure got to him. Golden State's a championship team. I think they were ready for that moment. OKC wasn't. So Kevin Durant decides, free agency. Miami trying to get at me. Boston trying to get at me. LA trying to get at me. I like the team that has the best record ever. Just barely lost out on the championship. Already won the championship. That's where I want to go. 4 All-Stars on that team. Why not make it 5? Western Conference All-Stars. Might as well do it. That was weak as hell, bro. You can never debate it. Weakest move I've ever seen. And that's not Golden State hate. Golden State, if you can sign them, you're damn right you're going to sign them. So I'm not mad at Golden State for doing it. Of course, I was like, are you kidding me? But if the opportunity is there, anybody's going to take it. Mm-hmm. So that was just soft as hell to me. You could have ran it back and beat that team to me. Obviously, OKC should have done a better job of having a better supporting cast. And on KD's burner, he mentioned that. But anywho, move was weak as hell. Now, oh yeah, KD hate. I'm gonna turn that up. We smoking that KD pack. FDN. I don't care about that KD pack. He means nothing to me. But so look, and that's a free agent signing. He willingly chose to go there. Now, in Giannis's case, he has a whole nother season unless they trade him this offseason. If they trade him to Miami.
No, I'm not talking about trade. I'm talking about sign.
Even if he signs there, that's a year from the time they beat him. And when Miami beat him, they were a lesser seed. They just beat him as a lesser seed on a team that looks more competent than his team because he keep getting number 1 seeds that don't do nothing when it matters most. So that doesn't make Giannis weak to me if a year from now he decides, I like the way Miami plays. When we played them, I noticed everybody on that team know how to do their job and step up. It's not just Jimmy doing everything. It's not just Bam doing everything. It's not Goran doing everything. Here, it's just me. So that's not weak to me to decide that team who's not a champion, who doesn't have one of the best records ever, I'd like to go play there. I like the destination. I like the culture. They're about winning. They're about working hard. Here, we're about getting the number 1 seed and coming up very, very short. I don't think that's a weak move at all. If you're looking for a culture shift and an opportunity to actually win, also, name a player that's a top 5 player in the league on Heat. You can't. Name a player that's a top 5 player on Golden State before KD got there. Or a top 10 player. You still couldn't do that with the Heat. Top 15. Still couldn't do that with the Heat. Maybe. Golden State, you could do that. Okay? So it's not as weak of a move to me. It's not nearly as weak. And the fact that there was even some sense of comparison, to me, is preposterous. It's not nearly the same. Not nearly the same. So joining the team that you lost to in the Western Conference Finals when you were up 3-1 on versus joining a team that beat you a year and a half ago.
Giannis lost to the Heat this year.
In the second round.
I mean, he lost to him. He didn't just, he lost to him.
That's not the same. Western Conference Finals, I'm 1 game away from going to the finals, and I'm going to join the best team ever created? Versus I lost to y'all a year ago in the second round.
Ever created. They just had the best
73-9, looks pretty good to me. Solid drafting, solid signings.
Don't mean nothing if you don't win a championship. Don't look like the Heat gonna win a championship either. So it look like
it's not the same, bro. It's literally not the same. The delusion in you is so strong. So give me my bad grade because I'm grading you as an F for this weak ass question and this weak ass logic. I'm giving you the F.
You bad?
It just doesn't make sense. It's not rational. They're not even.
It is rational. It's. I didn't say it's the same.
There's zero equivalency. Not even similar.
How is there no equivalency? You joining a team that you lost to
a year
in
ago.
The playoffs.
It'd be different even if he went this summer. I could see you being like, this would be a year from now.
It would still be the same.
No, it wouldn't.
The only reason, but let's be honest. The only reason if he does join the Heat, only reason he can't join the Heat this summer or this offseason is because he signed a contract for another year. That's the only reason. If he joins the Heat next year, he would have joined them this year. It wouldn't have made no difference.
You don't know that. He probably would.
Oh my God! So now
he would have went to Toronto.
It wouldn't have made no difference.
No, to me that's not nearly as weak. Is the NBA's fault if they wouldn't have gifted the series to Cleveland? He wouldn't have went to. Or it's Kevin Durant's fault. Because if he didn't gift Golden State the Western Conference Finals by chucking up so many bricks and demanding the ball, when, mind you, that year, I'm an avid OKC fan, or at least at one time was. They were running through everybody because everybody was getting involved. It got to Game 5, and KD got nervous and started doing this. You know how him and Draymond got into it a couple times because he would be doing this and Draymond would ignore him? He started doing that. 5, 6, 7. It was gunk, gunk.
What you say? 5, 6, 7.
Just give me the ball, and bricking. So it's KD's fault. I don't blame the NBA. It's KD. It's your fault.
Man.
You didn't show up, and you stopped playing the winning basketball that got you to the point.
It's not the exact same, but it's similar.
Not nearly
so you
the
get
same,
and
bro.
you're gonna get an F simply because you're not willing to admit that it's a similar
They're
move.
not
You're
similar.
joining a team that you're joining a team that you lost to.
Losing to a team
with a better team. You had a better team on paper. You joined a team that you lost to.
That's not the same.
It is the same.
That's not the same. Bro, Milwaukee is not a good team. They're not.
But they went. They had a bet. They had the best.
They still suck.
Had the best regular season
They're
record.
bad, bro. They're bad.
Had the best regular season record. So that means they're a fairly good team.
No.
They're just not good. They're not good
You
enough.
can have a shit
They're not good
record.
enough.
You can have
Thunder
a shit
was
record
not
and
a
be
better team than the Warriors, obviously, that year. They beat them 3. They lost 3
the Thunder were a better team. They just choked. Giannis was never the better team than the Heat. So there's no comparison. There's no comparison. Milwaukee is not a good team, bro. I don't care how many regular season games you win. Clearly, you fold in the playoffs because your team is not built to actually win anything. Y'all make good X's and O's, load manage, all that good stuff, and you end up getting the first seed.
You're getting an F because you're not willing to admit that
you get an F for asking that dumbass question. It's not as
weak.
Close,
it might not
bro.
be as weak,
it's
but it is still a weak move and a similarly weak move as KD. So my point is, if you're gonna be mad at KD, why can't people or why is it a crime to be like
Josh,
Giannis is making a similarly weak move?
No, you're asking.
Or you could just say
No.
neither one is a weak move. It's a business decision. He wants to join a better team so he can win championships.
I'm not.
Or you could just say that.
No, I'm not gonna give KD that credit.
Or you can say
you're a top 2 player and went and joined the 73-9 team. Shut up, bro. No,
it's the same. I mean, he's still a top 10 player joining a team that is about to lose in the NBA Finals the year before or 2 years before. They made it to the finals without him.
You got it, bro. You got it. Because we've had this conversation several times, and the dumbass logic here still is not adding up.
Logic.
I'm letting it go. Moving on. I'm not even going to keep going over this with you because this shit is ridiculous. It's not even close to the same. I'm going to let you have it. Because all you're going to do is raise my blood pressure. And I'm not going to go out like that. So, next segment, producer. Drop the lower third, please. Moving along. WNBA championship.
I got it.
I got words, but I'm going to let it go.
This was the one, y'all.
I'm going to let it go.
This is the one. I was waiting.
Giannis going to Golden State, get ready for it. Honestly, at this point, that's weak. That is weak.
How is that weak? How is that weak?
Never mind. Never mind.
Okay, that is weak. That is weak.
Shut up.
I give you that. That's weak. That is weak, but it's just as weak if you did the Heat. The Heat made the finals.
It's not.
Are the Heat in the finals right now? Ask me that. Answer that question. Yes. Yes. I love it, y'all. As a little brother, I've been a little brother my whole life. This makes me feel good.
It's so wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's so wrong.
I'm not just trolling.
Trolling.
I perceive it as being, again, it's not as weak or more weak, but it's still a weak move because they in the NBA Finals. So and you lost to them. Maybe it's not a weak move. I don't feel like it is a weak move, but it's a similar move to join a team that you lost to in the playoffs.
It's not.
Because your team's not good enough, even though you're a top 5 player. So they really don't need you to make to the finals, but you're going to put them over the hump.
It's not.
And I feel like that's what KD did. It's not. And it's a weak move. You can say it's a weak move.
How did KD put a team that already won a championship over the hump? A team that was up 3-1. You didn't.
They lost.
That's not even. The WNBA champions are your Seattle Storm.
Yeah.
They very, very easily dismissed the Aces. I'm done with your ass. Don't talk to me. They very easily dismissed the Las Vegas Aces. Roll up that loud pack for the Aces one time.
Woo.
Roll it up. Because...
Yeah, shout out Seattle Storm, Breanna Stewart.
Steamroll, baby.
Natasha Howard.
Steamroll.
Sue Bird. We see y'all, baby.
Okay, don't block me out. Please don't block me out. Whatever you was finna do. Okay. It ain't as bad as the Celtics pack now. That one was... Whew. Yeah, the Aces just... They didn't show up at all. Now, granted, we talked about the fact that there were some injuries to the Aces, and you still picked them like a dummy. But I told y'all, the Seattle Storm is going to win. Now, first and foremost, there's a couple big things about that. We're 24. Are you 24 yet? You're 23, aren't you? You're 24. 24. Yeah, you just turned 24. I'll be 25 in like 2 weeks. Breanna Stewart is only 26, bro. Only 26.
That's a year older than you.
Already got 10 rings.
10 of them things.
Whether it's from Olympics, FIBA World Cup, WNBA championship. I mean, she just out here stacked.
And she got 4 NCAA.
Boom.
You only get 4 years. You only get 4 years to win one. She got 4.
She went Wendy style.
Yeah, 4.
She got one earlier. Came in the league, still hoop, got another one. And, I mean, was hooping on these cats. Where did that box score go? Because I need to see it again.
Game 1, she put up 35 and 17. You know what Shaq would call that? Barbecue chicken. 35 and 35 and 17.
35 and 17, bro.
In game 1. That's barbecue chicken.
35 and 17.
That's pretty dominant.
That's SLN.
Yeah.
Shaq-like numbers.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And she just showed up ready to play. I mean, they swept them. Straight 3-0.
35 and 17. No, what was it? 37 and 15. It was 37 and 15. There it is.
It's disgusting.
37 and 15.
Disgusting.
That's barbecue chicken. Also, we do got to shout out, like we said, Sue Bird.
Sue Bird, man. She won a ring. Now, there are only 3 players to win a ring 3 different decades.
Men and women.
3 players per. The big fundamental, Tim Duncan. J.B. Smoove, little brother, John Sally.
John Sally probably is his older brother.
He probably is older than him, but just in my mind, I look at him and I see J.B. Smoove. John Sally, Tim Duncan, and now Sue Bird.
Shout out. That's tough.
That's tough.
That's pretty tough, Sue.
I mean, the longevity to continue hooping, producing, and to win over the course of several different decades, that's impressive. You don't see it often. Some careers don't last long enough, and the careers that do last long enough, you don't stay in the championship picture long enough to put yourself in that type of position. So I wanted to give a special shout-out to Sue, a special shout-out to Breanna Stewart for balling like she is at the very young age that she is.
I got to hate on her, though.
There's only more to come.
I got to hate on her just a little bit.
He can't just let her be happy, you know what I'm saying?
She can't be happy.
Can't let people celebrate. He got to rain on the parade.
She got 10 more rings than I got.
Rain on the Storm.
Well, you know, this is a sports, and he's a sports guy, and me, you know. She got 10 more rings than me. There's nothing I can really say is going to affect her. And I wasn't looking it up, Cam.
LeBron started super teams.
I was about to look it up, and then I remembered it.
Wasn't the Celtics making deals to get?
Yeah, I agree, Mount. I think
LeBron.
it's the Celtics first, but he doesn't think the Celtics teamed up. Remember that we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
I don't know.
But anyway, I gotta hate on Breanna Stewart a little bit because she's got 2 WNBA championships, and I think the reason she got 2 WNBA championships is because there's somebody missing in the WNBA who I think has a similar, if not better, resume than Breanna Stewart, and that is
who that be?
The female Jordan, Maya Moore. Where is number 23 for the Minnesota Lynx? And she hasn't played in the league.
We talk about her
for 2 or 3 years because that's my girl.
Yeah.
She has 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4.
So you telling me?
Not 3, but 4.
4.
4
from the 5th floor.
She 4 for 4.
From the 5th floor.
She got 4 WNBA championships.
You telling me Breanna Stewart is just the WNBA version of Hakeem Olajuwon?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Breanna Stewart, you
quite
the
king. Hooper, very impressive.
You a king with it. Hakeem is a GOAT, and by every means of the word, but you only getting him.
Think you only got him because
you only getting him because somebody not there to dominate the WNBA.
That's a fair argument. That's one of those great league what ifs that.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, they both went to UConn. You know, Brianna took the reins from Maya Moore back in the day. But I'm saying, if Maya Moore was in the league, it wouldn't be so easy, baby. What you count?
Rings.
10
rings on all levels, not just hit WNBA. But that's a fair point. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
Maya Moore also got a couple national championships too.
No, Maya, they both walking around with infinity gauntlets on their wrists. Yeah. I ain't even gonna care.
And the thing about it, Maya Moore did all that, and then went to do something else and be even more powerful.
It's true.
So it's like she said to the entire league, including Breanna Stewart, "What's next? Hey, what's next?
We got to start the petition to get her back in the league, bro. We got to answer these what ifs.
We got a petition. It just depends on whenever she want to come back.
She busy with her boo and everything. Got that man out of jail and fell in love. And, you know what I'm saying? So, but hopefully Maya comes back to the league. That would be very nice to see with the way the league is looking now.
Also, we got to say about, like you said, Aces had injuries. Yeah. And I think it was impressive because we was going to talk about A'ja Wilson, people saying she overrated.
Somebody tweeted and said, I always thought A'ja was overrated. She quote tweeted and said, bet.
Like, come on now. Don't do that.
Because first off, the league MVP.
First off, she hooped.
Same thing that happened to Giannis.
She hooped in the finals this season, but she just literally didn't have any help.
No support.
A lot of injuries coming into the series and coming into the season. The fact that they were able to make number 1 seed this season was pretty impressive because they didn't have Kelsey Plum, who's one of the star guards of the team, and they don't have Liz Cambridge, which is probably one of the more dominant players in the league. Alongside,
that's my boo.
Yeah, alongside A'ja Wilson.
Yeah, so, she was missing some of her help.
She didn't have no help, and then we looked through the games. It was one game where she had 18, and Asia McCoughtry, who was one of the better players, only had 7 points.
That's what I was about to bring up. Game 1, Asia McCoughtry put up 20 and 9. So looking at the box score, you like, okay, she had help. You know, they just couldn't get over that little hump. Let's look at the closeout game for the series.
Also,
game
they got body in that closeout game. For the series.
By the way, final score 92-59 Seattle. Yeah. So let's look at that box score real quick. Angel McCoughtry, what I said, game 1, 20 and 9. Game 3, 20 minutes, 7 points. 1 board.
She only played 20 minutes, so it's probably was
1
tired.
board.
She was tired.
1 assist.
But she ain't had no help. A'ja Wilson led with 18,
single game.
And the next leading scorer behind A'ja was Jackie Young with 11 points. It's kind of tough to do that. I mean, when you lose by 30, that's pretty much what you're gonna get. What the box score is gonna look like. But I mean, you in the WNBA finals.
It almost kind of reminds you.
30. That's
I mean, you hate to. People always want to make the excuses argument, but like you can't. If I'm missing the other people that make this team what this team really is, it's gonna be hard for me to really do anything with them. It gives me 2015,
I think it shows how good she is.
Vibes.
It shows how good she is. The fact that they made it this far, they made the number 1 seed. But if you're being real, Seattle Storm pretty much had it the entire way. They got a lot of good players outside of Breanna Stewart. We've talked about it. It's not just Breanna. It's not just Sue. It's not.
They got it.
They got some players on that team that can hoop, and this is like the Bulls.
It sound like they played the Monstars.
This is 96 Bulls, really. Maybe not as great because they didn't win back, three-peat or anything. But as far as the team goes, they have that kind of team where it's just like when you got Breanna Stewart, who's probably arguably the top 2, and she not 2 player in the league.
True. 37 and 50.
Yeah, and she that's the best player. So and she's got a really good, strong supporting cast. So
yeah, they just handled it, man, like nobody's business. And I'm a fan of competitive basketball, which is why I don't like to go and say words. So I don't like to see finals that are sweeps. I would have liked to seen it a little closer, a little less lopsided. Especially that game 3, it just looked like, based on the score at halftime, the Aces were like, well, it's been a front runner, ladies. Home on 3 because they just you got blown out by 33. 33. So
I see you with the math.
It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate to see it play out that way, But at the same time, I did call the storm, so it's a W for me in my book.
Yeah, shout out Adrian. He called it at the beginning of the season.
He did.
Yeah.
You know, my bias for the Phoenix Mercury prevented me from just admitting that the Seattle Storm were definitely the favorites and the best team, but I just had a good feeling about the Mercury. I love my girl Diana.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, anywho, yeah, so that's really all that I needed to touch on about the WNBA. I just had to, first of all, rub that W in Darius' face. Mostly your face. I should have bet you some more money. And
I was going to bet on that.
Yeah, you knew better.
I learned my lesson.
You knew better. I'm never wrong when it comes to betting. If I'm willing to put up money, guarantee I'm right. Because I don't put up money for nothing. Anywho, so moving on to the NBA. Josh, we're going to talk about the Sixers in general. Last week we talked about how they don't know what they're doing. We've talked about it several times. Let's just start at the top. First of all, that stupid D'Antoni rumor, we were like, what the hell? Why would James Harden even come because of that? Why would you want him there? It doesn't even make sense.
Let's give him credit for that not being true.
Yeah. But you know what they went ahead and did? You know who they signed? One hell of a coach who does so well with superstar teams. In fact, he's won one ring with about 3 or 4 superstar teams. The great Doc Rivers. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm trolling a little bit. Doc Rivers
is a great coach.
He's a great coach.
I love him.
By all means. But.
And he's black.
The production. He hasn't really produced.
Not a long time.
With this superstar talent. He won a ring in 2008.
Not this
with
decade.
The first super team in the modern NBA. I don't care what you say, Lamau. Other than that, underachieved with really good teams. So the Sixers said, well, we're full of underachievers. Go ahead and come on, be right at home with us.
It's a great fit.
Like, we mesh. We both don't give a damn about getting where we need to be. We're just going to coast right in here. How you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know. It's a lost cause. I'm still on the, like, just find some new bodies, some new candidates. Like, I'm tired of seeing the same coaches.
Hot potato.
I'm tired of seeing the same. They do this in football, but they do it. They really do it in football, actually. But they continue to do it in basketball, and it's just like, I understand.
As soon as you
not
get dropped,
wanting to,
the next team is like,
yeah, when you have pieces like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you don't want to jeopardize that by maybe getting a young coach who is not a good coach, and you're just trying to find out. So you don't want. I get that, but we've seen what Doc Rivers can do, and maybe it's because he was in the East or in the West. That's fair because he had to go up against the Warriors. You know, we was smoking that Clippers pack a lot. The Rockets were too. So maybe that's why he going back east now. So okay, maybe I can give you that. I'm just thinking about that. Maybe I can give you that. But I just want to see some new bodies. Like,
what I'm doing.
It's been a while since we seen new bodies. Or it's just like you got Tyronn Lue, who's not new, but it's still newer. He only got one head coaching job, and it was only because LeBron was on the team.
You know, the Sixers were looking at him too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, they were looking at him.
They were looking at the whole Clippers staff like,
Penny, Miney, Mo. Got your Tiger by so
I don't know which one, but
yeah. So
should have went with Tyronn Lue because you got Baby Bron.
That's my only issue with them signing Doc Rivers. Again, he's a great coach. He's going to get them to the playoffs, but they just have to give over.
They're going to underachieve again.
My issue with the 76ers.
You might be beating me to the punch. We might be getting to the same point.
Go ahead. Then.
Because I know we've had a debate about their 2 star players.
Yes.
Now, my thing is, we saw when Doc went to the Clippers, he ended up having a little bit of power. He wasn't just the coach. They gave him some strings to pull as far as moving around players and everything.
Which won't be the case in Philly.
You don't think they're gonna let him do it?
No,
I think Philly is all. I think Philly is all talk, but I feel like they're gonna let Doc have some input on moving one of these.
I mean, of course they're gonna have input.
I think they're gonna move somebody. Now here's where we see differently.
They might move somebody.
You think this needs to be Ben's team? Get Joel out of there.
Yes.
I firmly believe Joel is the one. I would like Joel to go elsewhere because he deserves better, but I think Ben is the one that should get moved. So I want to get to the bottom of that. Now, I know y'all looking at the screen saying they still say Doc Rivers, but this is something we've talked about on several shows, and it's about time we just get down to it.
Let's go.
Let's get down to it.
They need to get rid of Joel Embiid. He's a big man.
Speak on it.
Big men are perishing away in the NBA. especially his type of big man. I mean, he don't handle the ball. He's not Jokic. Jokic is one I can get away with because he can actually play point guard. Okay, he's never in shape. He's a little bit of a diva. He's a distraction, and it seems like he likes to talk trash. But every time he does talk trash, he don't do good. He underperforms. And those are the main three things that I feel like. It's just like Joel Embiid is a great player. He's a great talent. He's got the size.
You trolling.
He's
trolling like a mug.
Zion,
she trolling. Hey, you said always out of shape. She said, ooh, Z-I-O.
Oh, you say out of shape like Zion. Yeah, Zion needs to get in shape. But those are my three things. He's a little bit, like I said, I think they need to train him. You can build around Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not a diva, even though he was a Kardashian for a while. Ben Simmons is in shape. And Ben Simmons, I feel like, can make his teammates better. So I want Ben Simmons. If they're willing to give Ben Simmons to, say, the Warriors, I would love Ben Simmons.
Every Warriors fan wants Ben Simmons or Giannis because it'd be great for you all.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's all. I get it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Ben Simmons is the perfect player for your team.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that at all.
I agree. But yeah, so that's why I say no to Joel Embiid. He can't play in the fourth quarter, and when he does, he's tired. He's got injury concerns, even though Ben Simmons does too, but not as much as a big man. When you big like that and you're not in shape, you got even more, so that's magnified. So that's why I say I would trade. If I was the 76ers, I'm getting rid of Ben Simmons. I'm getting rid of Joel Embiid. I'm building around Ben Simmons. Like, people are so concerned about Ben Simmons not being able to shoot. That's not a huge concern to me. You just have to put him around shooters. LeBron James early in his career could not shoot. Okay, Jordan early in his career could not shoot. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't need to develop a shot. Listen, I'm not saying he don't need to develop a shot. He needs to develop a shot. He needs to develop a shot, but it does not have to be a 3-point shot. If he can just extend it to mid-range, that will make them have to guard him a little bit. Because if you're just gonna let him pull up from mid-range every time, and he becomes a bucket from mid-range or in the post, if he becomes a bucket in the post, it's going to be a problem. Again, LeBron cannot shoot early in his career.
No, and
even when he led his team to the finals.
That's cap.
That's not cap.
No, there's several games, several clips, several highlights. Brian, it wasn't a super efficient strap.
Okay,
no, but I'm saying watching 4 games.
I'll give you that.
It wasn't the most efficient strap. It wasn't Steph, Kyle Korver, or JJ. But he would bust him. He would hit him.
He could
without
shoot,
hesitation. He
don't get me
scared.
wrong. He can shoot better than Ben Simmons.
Ben cannot shoot.
He can't shoot at all.
He can't shoot. He's scared to shoot. It's all in his head.
He got the yips.
He's Markelle Fultz, for real. Markelle just had the yips on all fronts. Ben Simmons has the yips with scoring. If it's a rebound or assist, he doesn't mind. A little bit of defense, maybe. But scoring, please help. Somebody.
Not scoring, shooting.
Do this.
He can score. He can put up 20. He averaged 20.
You know why he can score? Because, excuse me, Joel, even though this is what you do, watch out, I need to dunk. That's why he can score.
He can score.
Which doesn't make sense.
He got a layup
It doesn't
package.
make sense. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. But if you're supposed to be my point guard, it would be nice if you weren't scared as hell to shoot. They could put me out there in Ben Simmons' spot. I'd shoot just as many jumpers as he do. Shit. I mean, he stand there, he get open it. He don't want it. He gets the deer in headlights look. And my thing is, you want to say, he said Rondo ass shooter. Rondo at least can hit him now. Shoot.
But that's the thing. Rondo couldn't shoot early in his career. You can learn to shoot as you can. If you look through the history of all great players, some of them couldn't shoot. But as they played and as they aged, they got better and became better shooters.
Get that. I understand that. But to me, honestly, you know what? I'm okay with you saying Ben Simmons because I want Joel out of Philly because I feel like it's a culture thing. I personally feel like, and I'm not just saying this like piggybacking off of what we were discussing earlier, I think Joel would thrive in Miami because that's the organization that's going to put their foot in your ass. You going to be in shape. We going to work hard and we going to win.
It's not going to work your way.
We're not accepting.
Adebayo. And at this point, Adebayo's better.
That's the only thing when it comes in terms of fit.
Might not have the same potential, but I mean, he's all-star.
It comes in terms of fit, but I'm just saying as an organization, I'm okay with you saying Joel only because I feel like Joel needs an organization that's going to push him and force him to stay at a certain pedigree. I feel like the 76ers are
Derek
okay with
said, why everybody going to Miami? Everybody going to go to Miami?
No.
Everybody can't
That's
go.
why I said I didn't want to make it seem like I was piggybacking. I'm just saying, for example, an organization like Miami is going to pull the best out of him. I feel like the 76ers...
Again, he is a diva.
I don't feel like it's just him. Ben Simmons is a diva.
No,
Ben Simmons is part of the reason they didn't bring Jimmy back.
You don't see Ben Simmons in the media.
Ben Simmons is part of the reason they didn't bring Jimmy back. That's a fact.
Jimmy
was the person that made that team damn near a title contender.
If he clashed with you can clash with players. That don't make you a diva. Being a diva is constantly being in the media.
You don't want him back.
You
don't want him back, and thus now we're a shittier team. While he's over in the sunset going to the finals because you were afraid of having.
That is a diva move.
Ben Simmons was the Karl Anthony Towns of the 76ers team. Because Cat was scared of Jimmy. He went to 70.
It wasn't Cat.
He went to Philly.
They say it wasn't Cat. It was no, it wasn't Wiggins. It might have been Cat. Yeah, never mind.
Wiggins, he just wanted that man to perform his potential, but Cat was scared of him. He didn't like it. I guarantee you. He went to Philadelphia. You know who we got there and didn't like it? Ben Simmons. Joel and Jimmy never had a problem. You still see them dabbing it up, talking stuff after games, chilling, talking stuff back and forth on Instagram. He ain't had no problem with Joel and his work ethic. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, you cannot shoot, but you always want to have the ball.
Saying, who's the bigger diva? Be honest. Come on. You already know the answer to that question. I give you Ben Simmons. That was a diva mode.
I'm still take Joel over Ben if it's me.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, Lamont, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like it's going to happen or it should happen. I'm just saying a team like
they got money for one more max player.
Yeah, Miami is saving all the money on their books for next offseason because they can get another player.
They got money for one more.
They can definitely make it happen. And with assets, they could definitely make trades. I'm just saying that send him to OKC. I'm just saying a team like Miami where that culture is like from president to coach to whatever.
Yeah.
We all finna work in here. Pat Riley is still in shape. The man is 84 years old basically. Still in shape, got no body fat. He be working.
Dude.
Yeah. He's in shape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they always talk about how much of a different culture it is. The team
So I feel like a team like that will pull the most out of him.
Yeah.
That's fair. But obviously as far as the realistic, probabilities of that happening is probably very slim unless, for whatever reason, something happened to Bam. Or he played the power forward, which I would doubt. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm just saying a team like that. I'm not saying it would happen.
For me, Joel Embiid doesn't fit. Like, it's the whole...
You know what?
The entire league is going small. Centers are going by the wayside. He can stretch you.
Joel is actually a more efficient scorer than just back to basket. The only thing is,
I mean, he can stretch a little bit.
He can stretch the floor. He can hit threes.
He's kind of a problem.
He can hit,
but he still can't guard the small ball lineup. He can't guard anybody if you put a def lineup or Warriors def lineup. He can't guard nobody.
And that's fair.
That's the only issue.
My only issue with you having my thing is you had Joel, and this is another case of the Sixers just pulling. To me, they're not pulling picks for fit. They're pulling who we think is just the best available option. Because you had Joel. Then you went and got Jahlil Okafor. Who is, I think, just the best available option because, he's good. But we're not picking him based on his fit here. Then Ben Simmons, no-brainer. He's the best available option. But based on fit, a guard that's big as hell and can't shoot, and you're going to put him on a team with a dominant post scorer. They can't work together.
They honestly should have been able to fit. It's just they thought they would be able to quickly develop
Ben,
shot.
and it didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm saying after a while, you have to realize, okay, well, we have to figure out something because if Ben's only really effective driving to the hoop or slashing, and Joel can shoot, but he's most effective with his back to the basket, that can't work if you always want to drive and dump it to somebody next to you. You're taking up each other's space. Mm-hmm. So one of them, to me, I've always said one of them needs to leave. It just doesn't work. It looks nice. On paper, it sounds good, but it just doesn't work. One of them needs to leave. And you know what? I'm okay with you moving on from Joel because I think Joel
convinced you, though, didn't I?
I just think he needs a new scenery. I don't think that Ben is the player that you should stick with, but I think for Joel's sake, he needs a change of scenery. He just needs to be gone.
It's a good day for me.
I think the same with Markelle Fultz. If you had given him time, he probably still would have developed there. But I think it was good for him to just get out of Philly. Just get a whole new scenery. I think the same for Joel. While I do think that he's the player they should keep, I'm okay with them moving on from Joel because I think he needs a whole new culture, a whole new scenery, a whole new
What do you think about
staff.
people saying they need to build a team around neither of them?
You're an idiot. Who would say that? Did somebody say that?
Mount said that. I know Cam said that.
Cam, you're a casual. Shut up.
And then I think Mount agreed to it.
Where did he say it? Let me see, because I want to go back to that.
Oh, well, maybe he was agreeing.
He was agreeing to the
Rondo ass shooter.
Lamont said he's getting rid of Simmons too. So me and Lamont are on the same page. If I had to leave one there, I would say get rid of Simmons. But the only reason I want Joel to leave is because I think he needs a whole new place.
Yeah, I'm building my team around. I'm building my team around Ben Simmons.
Until Ben Simmons can score
LeBron.
and shoot.
He's a LeBron-like talent. He just needs to develop his shot a little bit.
So Draymond. Because
Draymond's no like a LeBron
Draymond can defend, he can pass, he can rebound. He couldn't shoot
Draymond ain't got the size.
Ben Simmons is closer to Draymond than he is LeBron.
Draymond is 6'5".
Ben Simmons is closer to Draymond than he is LeBron.
No, he's not. No.
Draymond couldn't shoot.
He can't handle the ball. Draymond can't really handle the ball like Ben Simmons.
How many times does Draymond run the ball?
He runs the
Okay, you just dug yourself into a hole. Get him out of here.
He's just out of here. Size-wise, he's not nowhere. And athleticism.
He's
exactly.
Draymond Green.
Athleticism, there it is. Who is he more athletic like? His athleticism. Who is it closer to? And that's what I'm talking about. Is he closer to LeBron or Draymond? Come on, let's be real.
He's Draymond's skill set with LeBron's athleticism.
Well, Draymond's a better defender.
Ben Simmons was in DPOY conversations early this year.
Yeah, early this year.
I mean, as the year went on and then also came to a sudden halt, people just randomly picked something because Giannis won. So, you can't really base it off who won this year.
No.
He's Draymond plus 5 or 6 inches on the height.
Draymond can shoot better than Ben Simmons. But size and athletic-wise,
I'm saying, he used to not be able to shoot.
Listen, to have that size and that athleticism, like LeBron, and the willingness and ability to pass the ball and handle the ball, I think he's more like LeBron than Draymond. Draymond just doesn't have the height, the size, or the athleticism. He's got the passing and the defense or whatever, but that's, I think, and those are the main 3 things that make LeBron. His size, athleticism, and his willingness to pass the ball.
I think what you need to do...
Ben Simmons has all 3 of those things.
If you're the Philadelphia 76ers, you need to find a way to get Ben Simmons to Golden State, take some of those assets, take Draymond Green. You get yourself a decent guard plus Draymond Green and some good assets, then you have a winning team. Let Ben go do whatever the hell he wants without having to shoot because he's got shooters. You got somebody that does everything he does, but he's not going to clog up the paint so Joel can actually do what he's best at. Problem solved. Everybody wins. Moving on to the NBA Finals. So he's literally not Draymond.
Exactly. He's not.
He's going to trade them both to LA for Kawhi. Speaking of, we'll have to get back to that because
that would be dumb.
I don't know. We'll revisit it during the offseason. I fully expect Paul George to get traded, and it's messed up, but I fully expect it. I think Steve Ballmer is irrational and probably very erratic when it comes to making decisions, and I feel like he's probably pissed that
they need to hire,
all these strings to pull you here.
First. They need to hire somebody.
I pulled all these strings to get you here, and this is what you did in the playoffs. Anyway,
I think the Paul George ship is starting to sell. Maybe not in LA, but as like a dominant, top player in the league.
All I'm saying is,
I think people are over that.
He looked pretty damn good in OKC.
He looked good in that commercial with OKC.
Nah, that was when he was still in Indiana.
Was it?
He was still in Indiana.
Yeah.
That was the start of PG-13, a.k.a. the decline of his career. Anyway, he should have just left the number 24.
He took the Miami Heat to Game 7, though. That was the beginning.
Yeah, 24. And then whenever he changed his number, everything started to go sour.
And he broke his leg. You gotta remember he did do that thing with his leg. It's kind of been down here.
That don't affect.
But anyway,
that don't affect your shoulders or your playoff performance.
We're going to Game 5 in this NBA Finals.
Josh.
It is 3-1. Heat or the Lakers, are leading.
I wish.
3-1. Is it possible for the Heat to come back, or will it happen? Or I just don't want the Lakers fans. Laker fans are so irritating. They are.
I'm gonna clip that. I need that as a gift.
They are. They are. They're just irritating just because it's like
they're almost like you, honestly.
They have so many championships and it's just baffling. Like they're so entitled to everything.
Yeah, Warriors fans.
Yeah. Warriors fans, we weren't entitled. We got it from the mud. We got it out the mud. People didn't just want to come to us because we in LA and we got 17 championships and we got a legacy with Kobe being here.
Nobody wanted to go to LA either.
LeBron went to LA.
It's a lifestyle decision. Besides LeBron, when's the last time they got somebody that actually mattered?
They had Kobe.
Nobody.
Who gonna blame Kobe? Chris Paul wanted to play with Kobe.
Chris Paul was the last person that on paper actually
He
wanted to go to LA.
play.
Nobody wanted to go to LA. And that's why LA fans suck, because nobody has ever wanted to play for you. You just are holding on to things that have happened over the years.
No, they got legacy, man. They want to play in the
You got
purple
legacy.
And gold.
You got legacy, for sure.
Purple and gold.
But as far as present day, up until 2 years ago when LeBron came,
right, but LeBron, they attracted LeBron, the best player in the world, because of the legacy
they didn't
of
have
the
to
Lakers.
do anything. People,
he could have went to the Clippers.
already saying
He could went to the Clippers.
If
It's
I'm
LA.
If I'm gonna go to LA,
It's the same stadium.
No,
Exactly. You want to be at LA.
If you
want
to
to
go to LA, you don't want to go to the little brother B team.
Exactly.
If I have an option, am I gonna get the Great Value brand or the real Oreos?
Okay,
That's not.
Lakers fans are irritating because they're entitled. We can agree to that. But
Celtics fans.
So what I was saying was I don't want them to win. I'm so tired of the little,
Lakers in 5.
The Lakers in 5. I'm tired of that. So I just wanted to see go 6 so people can be wrong, even though they're gonna still say they was right. But I do think the Lakers are gonna win the championship, and I don't see the Heat as being able to come back. But I will say there is 28-1 odds that Jimmy Butler wins the NBA Finals MVP. So if they were to come, so if you bet $100, you get $2,800 in return. So that might be a good bet, because if you just like, okay, they're gonna come back, come back and win in Game 7, 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10, Jimmy Butler's going to be the Finals MVP.
He absolutely has to be, especially after that 40-point triple-double.
Exactly.
Keeping him afloat without Bam.
So if you're going to bet $100 on that, and you think the Heat can come back, that might be a good time to just bet. It's just $100. So you can win $2,800, $2,700.
They're talking about Space Jam for the reason LeBron went to LA. And Lamont said the new Toon Squad jerseys are trash.
I like the new Toon Squad jerseys. They were cool. And yeah, that probably that's a good reason to why.
Literally Hollywood, marketability, hella money after retirement.
Okay, but who is the team that also has all that stuff?
Anyway, moving on.
And if it was just that stuff, he could have joined the
Lakers. My only issue with this, and I meant to touch on it last week when you asked me a question of the day. My only issue with this championship and this year's playoffs is that LeBron did benefit from another cakewalk. Now, hear me out. Only in the sense that, hear me out. He dodged the bullet on the biggest teams everybody was expecting him to have to go through. And that's their fault, too, because they underperformed. Pandemic P. And y'all lost to the Nuggets, who had just grinded out a 7-game series. You really should have been able to dismiss them in 5.
It was up 3-1.
You should have been able to get rid of them. There's no excuse. Okay, but so you got the young, inexperienced, worn-out Nuggets. First round, they had Dame. Dame been doing everything to get them in the playoffs, but I don't know why he wouldn't just let it go. Like, it's okay. It's not worth it. Because you won't be tired as hell, which he was. CJ's back was broken. They just weren't ready to compete. The Rockets have a horrible system, along with one of their best players coming back from COVID and a quad injury. It just wasn't going to work out. So they had a pretty easy, and it's not LeBron's fault. But it's just, damn, it was easy for you again. It would have been nice to see somebody make you struggle. So to get to the finals, too, the team that nobody thought really would make the finals, most people. And for you to, again, have an easy path, it's like, oh, I really hope they win Game 5. I would hate to see the Lakers win the finals in 5, because then it just make it look like y'all didn't really have to exert yourself at all. Y'all went 16-4 in the playoffs. Wouldn't that be right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it would just kind of be annoying. But I will say, also, too, being on the other side of the injury bug thing, he's played the finals before where people got injured on his team. So now to see him on the opposite side, it's really annoying. Only because this could have been a really great matchup. And then Game 1, Bam goes down. Dragic, who has been their leading scorer, ball in this playoffs, he goes down. It's like, oh, here's a ring.
It's not fair to say he had a cakewalk, though. It's just like...
It's not his fault, but it was a cakewalk. I'm not wrong. You literally didn't have to struggle for any of these series.
But that's not his fault.
I said it's not his fault.
I know. But in every series, it wasn't like other teams were being picked in some cases.
I think first of all, I can roll the tape of you saying you really felt like the Trailblazers had a shot at beating.
That's what I'm saying. Other teams were being picked. That's what I'm saying. So
I thought you just said they weren't being.
No, I said were. Other teams were being picked, which means it wasn't a cakewalk. People thought that the Lakers could get challenged but they didn't get challenged.
And like I said, due to circumstances which I just broke down, that didn't turn out to be true. The only one that you can really hold is the Clippers, and that is thoroughly the Clippers' fault for underperforming. Other than that, the likelihood of the Blazers really winning, especially given the circumstances, Dame has been trying to put up 50, 80 every game.
I get that, but
there was nothing was going to happen there. That was going to be a breeze.
There's no point in saying that it was a cakewalk if they beat the teams that they thought they were going to have to beat that lost to. It's not. I don't feel. It's not to even say that. I don't think that's necessary.
If I very easily handle you in 5 games,
because they performed really well. That doesn't mean the competition wasn't good.
We're here.
Y'all here, but y'all shouldn't be. Quit! Don't try to take away from that man cake. That's all I'm saying. He did it. He did it in 5.
So, I would very much like the Heat to win Game 5. I think that they actually do have a chance because if you've watched this game, none of these games have been out of their hands, really. Game 1, it looked bad, but they were going on runs at the end. They just haven't been able to get over that last little hump. So, it is a winnable Game 5. Going into, hopefully, Game 5, the Miami Heat pull it out. And I hope that momentum carries them enough that they make Game 6 a close one. Even if they don't win it, I hope that it gives them the confidence and the momentum to. They're not out of this series. They have been there next to LA the whole time. They have competed hard as hell.
Yeah.
I lost my best scorer and my big man for the majority of the series. Just got Bam back. So, of course, it's not going to be easy as it was. Just next man up mentality. You wish for the best. And Goran tried to play in Game 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's to say they don't win Game 5? Game 6, he might actually be able to contribute a little bit. He ain't going to go back to being who he was because you're dealing with an injured foot. But having that spark again, it could do something for you. I just want somebody to challenge this LA team. I think a lot of people already discredit the bubble. Ratings are going down because football is going. People feel like the bubble ain't the same. NBA legends are talking trash on the bubble.
Who cares?
I'm not saying I necessarily care, but it would just be nice. Like, people already discredit it. It'd be nice to give us one competitive series to end it. This is finna be the end of the bubble. Let's just go out on a good note. Not another easy Lakers in 5. All right, we'll see you in January when next season starts. It would just be nice for it to end on a good note, very competitively. And the way that the Miami Heat have performed all year, the way that Jimmy Butler has performed, I would hate to see them go out sad like that. I'm not ready to roll up that Heat pack yet.
I just think LeBron's just that good that he makes the good competition not look so good. That's all I'm saying.
Yeehaw, everybody. So anyway.
But he's going to have comp next year because you know the boys is back. Be ready.
Honestly, at this point, we can just go home.
The boys is back. Petty Betty of the week, man. It's that time.
And Daria mentioned that's why she didn't like the WNBA finals. Exactly. I don't never like nobody to just easily dismiss any team. It's not
like that.
You liked it when it was your team doing it. So
yeah, I'm sure you would like it if your team was doing it.
I wouldn't because I enjoy.
That's cap.
I enjoy basketball.
That's cap. You know that's cap.
Okay, Soldier Boy.
You know that's cap.
How I'm gonna be the that's cap.
You know that's cap. If the Rockets was to sweep the Warriors, you would be overjoyed.
First of all, that never happened in a million years. In between the Rockets' subpar players and their horrible
ass system. If your team was to sweep, you'd be like, let's go. I told y'all this is weak.
I personally, more so than any team, I am a fan of the game.
That's cap.
I love the game of basketball.
Don't believe that, y'all.
I love a good back and forth series.
He is 100% lying right now. Of course, we all love to see we all love to see good basketball. But if it's your team and you pick them from the beginning of the season, your team, you root for, and they sweep the entire the entire playoffs, you're gonna be like, let's go. That's my team.
The only time I wanted my team,
but they so good.
The only time I wanted my team to beat somebody bad was 2016 when we was up 3-1 on the Warriors. That was the one series. That was the only series.
That would have been no comp. 4-1.
Okay, that series, only because the Warriors, I wanted them to knock y'all arrogant asses down a little bit.
That's cap. You want your team to sweep.
No, I really don't.
No matter what the comp is.
Anyway, moving on. Petty Betty.
That's cap.
Petty Betty is going to be my ass when I quit this show. It's going to be straight talk with Fella because I'm leaving his ass. I'm starting my own. Feel free to subscribe to me because I'm about to do my own production. I can't deal with this BS no more. I told some of y'all I was going to slap him. I'm still thinking about it. Now he done rejuvenated that urge to do so because I was going to let him slide, but...
I love you too, man.
Back to Petty Betty of the week. This week we are sticking to the Lakers and Heat topic because...
Petty Betty of the week.
The internet, right, gets real petty. And one thing that the internet don't like, especially Lakers fans, is anybody celebrating playing well against the Lakers. Because forbid.
I'm so tired of that.
God forbid I play well and get hype about it.
It was cool the first series when they did it to Dame. And I was like, oh, okay.
Especially after Dame hit his little, you know what I'm saying? He did a little dance. But like the Rockets played really well against them game one. And they couldn't wait to keep using that clip of Russ talking about, because they was hooping. Anybody's going to be hyped when you hooping. That's part of the game. Right. Now, when the Lakers are doing it, it's no problem. Whatever. When AD in game one is saying, it's over, y'all ain't got nothing to say. Tyler Hero, who wasn't having a very good game, started playing really good down the stretch in the fourth and got an and one on Rondo that pretty much was the done deal of that game. That was going to seal the victory for them.
And I wanted
which
to look
keeps
up,
them from going down 3-0.
I wanted to look up like what his field goal percentage was in the fourth quarter and just like let everybody know like he
had a
in
reason,
the
yeah, because he wasn't having a good game. But down the stretch in the fourth, he was showing up.
I just feel like putting the energy to do
He put the dagger in that game to keep them from going down 3-0.
The and one was tough.
Yeah, that's a tough and one on Rondo, who's been in everybody's face snatching everything. I mean, he been getting all types of steals. He been playing great defense. So to get an and one on a vet who Jeff Van Gundy, I think, was just talking about. You got to be aware of Rondo picking that ball. You take him to the cup, and one. Mm-hmm. That's big. And I just sealed this game for us. We're not going down 3-0. So, Tyler walking around, little stank face action.
Yeah. Look, with the Kobe a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of Kobe.
Yeah. Look, yeah. Everybody on Twitter, boy, you ain't even play good. Bro, we just won a game. We were about to lose and be down 3-0 in the NBA Finals. Why is it a problem that I'm hyped?
He can be hyped.
It's okay. So the Petty Betty is all
like they was down 30. And he did.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd be like, okay. Yeah.
I had a horrible game. I'm finishing off strong. Let me. You know what I'm saying? Had my little swag. Internet wouldn't have it. They said, "Oh, he gonna get you next game." Soon as LeBron did that little dunk and Tyler had to flop a little bit, which at this point don't even flop against LeBron because they're never gonna give you the call. LeBron can do whatever he wants, and if he's driving to the hole, you're SOL. Just take it on the chin, move on.
Pretty much.
He flopped and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you talking all that stuff in game 3. Now look at you." It's LeBron James.
Make everything
and so it's just very annoying.
Fans too. LeBron fans are.
It's like the Laker fans is the most toxic.
And LeBron fans, that mesh is
it's the most toxic combination. Toxic. I literally cannot stand it.
Mark Jackson State University. Okay, let's just ignore that.
So as I was saying, things that matter.
Such casual.
Yeah. No, Petty Betty this week isn't even really funny. It was just more so annoying because the internet was jumping on the chance to talk stuff about the Miami Heat and Tyler Hero. All over them just being excited not to be in the 3-1 deficit.
Just don't confuse the internet with Laker fans. That's what you don't have to do. Laker fans...
It's all the same.
They're masses. So it seems like it's the internet, but really it's just Laker fans. You got to be able to decipher the two.
Touche.
Most people are rational, and I would say as a Warriors fan, maybe I was irrational at times.
At times? You're still irrational.
How am I still irrational?
Never mind. It's another show.
Got 3 championships in 5 years.
Anyway, we're coming up on an hour here, so let's just let that go. Petty Betty was the Laker fans on the internet who just couldn't wait to talk stuff. So let's move on to speaking or shouting. Let's finish this off because I know what I'm talking about this week.
Am I going first?
I'll let you go first, Josh. You speaking or you shouting?
I'm speaking. I don't really know, but I'm going to talk about the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals. Out of the playoffs. Just like that. Just as quick as we got in. Not really a good season. But what I'm going to speak to you guys about is the fact that several players that we've traded away over the last 4 or 5 years are balling on other teams. A lot of these players just so happen to be the same skin color as me. So,
them good old boys.
John Moses, yeah, they love them good old boys. They love players like Harrison Bader who can't hit a curveball, according to my brother, and it's pretty much true. They love players like Tyler O'Neill, who is a power hitter but strikes out 200 times this season. Maybe not this season because there was only 60 games. They love players like Matt Carpenter, who hasn't been good for 2.5 seasons. But they just love to keep them and not get rid of some of the other players, and get rid of some of the players that they don't know about. They're unsure. They do really well in the minor leagues. So typically if you do really well in the minor leagues, what does that mean you're going to do in the major leagues? really well. Really well? Maybe?
Yeah, for sure. Really well.
Yeah. So, I know you don't be knowing what I'm talking about at the time. But anyway, stop getting rid of these players that are doing good in the minor leagues just because you have one player that you think he can do okay in the major leagues. Or you like his, what's the Clark Kellogg word? Spurtability. Maybe you just like the fact that he's a good-looking white boy.
Lamont.
So they don't. Mount, you're right.
Cam said Cardinals don't mess with the dark.
Exactly. So I think that the chat gets what I'm saying here. You get rid of players like Randy Rosarina, who is balling for the Tampa Bay Rays. They got rid of players like Tommy Pham, who almost made an All-Star game this year with the Padres. Who else did they get rid of? Marco Gonzalez, who's not black, but he's not white either. You have all these players that we got rid of that are doing so well on other teams. Like John Mozeliak, we looking at you. The hot seat's starting to come because every time we see all these players balling for other teams, and they were on our team, and we got rid of them for as low as nothing. At what point do we finally say, listen, stop, trust your talent pool, for one, and stop hanging on to these players who have potential but never showcase that potential. Tyler O'Neill is a good example. He has potential. He has a lot of power. He can't hit. You got to be able to hit to have power. You know what I'm saying? You just can't strike out all the time. He's not the greatest defender. Or Harrison Bader, who's so good on defense, but he's not a good defender. Does that make sense? That don't really make sense, do it?
Is that Candace Parker?
He's just fast. Right. Right. He's just fast. He looks good with his hair flowing. You know, he makes a couple good diving plays. He can't hit to save his life. Yeah. And he's just not really even that good of a defender. Why we keep him and not somebody like Randy Rosarina?
The St. Louis Cardinals do not care about black people.
It seems like that. They kind of, yeah.
The only way the Cardinals will be happy is if they get Mike Trout and Bryce Harper.
Who are both white.
And they'll be super happy.
Yes, they would be. And we're second to Boston Red Sox when it comes to a racist city. So, just, give us, stop. Be better. Be better.
Are we really?
Yes.
That bad?
Yes. St. Louis?
Boston, though?
Yes. Too.
Anyway.
We in Missouri, first off.
But Boston is Ku Klux Klan County.
True.
That's fair, though. And although, I'm not an avid baseball guy, I even recognize that we don't too much tend to care for or keep or try to maintain colored folks on our roster.
We're clipping this and we send it straight to the Cardinals.
Do better. Forget the 76ers job. Let's take the Cardinals job.
I love to take jobs.
On the other hand, myself...
Yeah, are you speaking or are you shouting today, Riff?
I'm shouting as well.
Okay.
My thing is, and I'm going to just wrap it up real quickly, something I was talking about before the show, and I briefly touched on, is the unsung hero of the Miami Heat, Goran Dragic. Now, that man played on the Phoenix Suns, hooper. But he let the Phoenix Suns know, I ain't staying. They wanted to trade him. He said, you know what, I'm down with the Heat. Now, mind you, this is 5-6 years ago at this point.
Wade was still on the team.
Wade is still there. LeBron is on his way out. He just left. And Dragic said, I'm coming to town. He was playing for them very well. Under the radar. He wasn't really getting that recognition. I think once LeBron left, you still got Wade and Bosh, but people weren't really paying Miami attention like that. Of course, it's the LeBron effect. You remember that commercial. LeBron is swimming there. Everybody swimming behind him. He get on the bike. Everybody on the bike behind him. He left. The fans left. Goran was hooping. The spotlight is on D-Wade and Bosh. Bosh gets it, the blood clots and everything. Mm-hmm. Still focuses on them while he is still hooping. Mm-hmm. Moving on, D-Wade leaves.
Don't hear peep.
D-Wade leaves. He goes to Chicago. Goran is still there hooping. Under the radar. Still. Ain't nobody really appreciating him. Now then they draft Josh Richardson. They get Justice Winslow. They get Hassan Whiteside. They let it be known. Josh Richardson, that's our guy. That's going to be our point guard. You have that spot. We plan to give it to him. Goran just said, whatever, I'm going to still show up to work. I'm going to hoop. I'm going to do my thing. It didn't end up being Justice Winslow played a little bit of point guard, and they let him run it. Gordon still said, I'm going to just do my thing. I'm going to put up a solid little 16 off the bench, under the radar. Y'all don't appreciate me. The fans don't really appreciate me, but I'm going to just do my thing. I'm here to be professional. I just want to win. Jimmy wants out of Minnesota. They tried to finagle that. They tried to finagle that deal. A lot of people didn't realize that until he went there as a free agent. They tried to make that deal happen before he ever went to Philly. Goran was in that package. They ended up backing out on it. They still had him sitting there. They had Kendrick Nunn taking his minutes. Kendrick Nunn was hooping. He wanted him playing those minutes. I want you to get Rookie of the Year. I'm here for you, dog. I got your back. Whatever. I just want to win.
Kendrick Nunn was hooping.
They finally get Jimmy. Signed and trade. Had to make it happen. They got rid of, Josh Richardson. Dragic was on the table, too, to go to Dallas. Mark Cuban backed out. They ended up saying, you know what, Dragic, you going to stay here. We found our deal. Welcome Jimmy with open arms. They tried to get rid of me for you, but welcome to Miami. I'm still hooping.
They good friends now.
Good friends. They have consistently not given Goran the opportunities, no matter how well he's played. He was an all-star in 2019.
Was he?
2019-2020 season, he was an all-star.
2019, you mean that's this season? You mean last season?
Yeah, 2018-19. Damn, what year are we in?
Was he an all-star?
He was an all-star.
Oh, wow.
He was in Chicago. White jersey with the black Miami.
Who was in Chicago? Oh, you said he... Okay, my bad.
Yeah. So he was in that game.
That was... Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that was LA.
Yeah,
it was LA.
Chicago was this year. Yeah.
I don't know what year it is anymore. It's been too long.
Yeah.
He was in that LA All-Star game. He was an all-star. People didn't even trip off of him still. You had Kendrick Nunn taking his minutes. You was giving all type of people his minutes.
Even this season.
Tyler Johnson was taking his minutes when he was still there. They kept Tyler Johnson from going to Brooklyn. They matched that offer. You remember that? That was a year or two ago. They matched Brooklyn's offer to keep him. Yeah. You had Goran Dragic this whole time, but we keep looking for alternatives like you ain't hooping. That man stayed dedicated, stayed working, stayed loyal. Humble, stayed loyal, kept grinding out, and he balled. Kendrick Nunn got COVID. They needed Dragic to step up. He was hooping. He was their leading scorer. He was willing them to win. When it wasn't just Jimmy, it was Goran out there too. It wasn't just Tyler, it was Goran out there, who's always been putting in the work under the radar. And he took advantage of y'all finally calling on me like you should have been. Let me show you why you should. Hooping. And this is a contract year for him. Then to get to game one, man.
That sucks.
Game one of the best years of his career. Game one.
Like AP said, they'd be able to turn injuries off during the playoffs.
It'd be nice, man. We could just run the 2K simulation in real life. Turn off fatigue and injuries, man. Let these boys hoop. So it's a shame. I really hate to see it for Goran. I wish him the best. Like I said, in the ideal world, Miami wins Game 5. Maybe he gets to suit up for Game 6 and play a couple minutes, please. Because you can play through plantar fasciitis. That's how you say it, I think.
Fasciitis.
Fasciitis. You can play through it. But, what's the odds, really? He tried to suit up for Game 4. He couldn't get out there. But for Goran's sake, I would wish for him to be able to compete in this series. And if not, I hope that Miami is willing to pay him the money he deserves this year after all of his service. All of his service over the last 5-6 years, you've earned it. And even if they don't, I hope that another team is willing to step up. Because
somebody gonna pay him.
That's a guy you want on your team. I mean, to never complain, to just, I'm going to play my role. I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to make sure we win.
Not a peep.
You had Hassan Whiteside on that team who did the polar opposite. Bam Adebayo got there, and they said, yeah, he's going to take him minutes. He was throwing fits. They said, get your ass to Portland. You need to go.
Right.
So, I just think Goran is a stand-up guy, a stand-up teammate. I just wanted to speak a shot about Goran Dragic, the unsung hero of the Miami Heat. That's all I got to say this week.
That was a good one. I'm glad you spoke on that. Because you got to give, a
little history lesson.
You got to give players their flowers.
Yeah, for sure. That's how we got this week, though, man. Aside from you trolling, this could have been a very short show. That bull you was coming up with for the question of the day, I don't know where that came from. But anyway, good show this week. You thought I was going to slap you right there. Did you see his face, man? You thought it was going to... Hey, we'll see y'all next week, man. Deuces. You flinched. You ain't realize it, but you flinched.